So here we're being asked to divide this polynomial by x minus 4. What is the easiest way to divide this polynomial? Synthetic, yes. Because it's just x minus 4. Now, synthetic, you start how?
Upside down.
Like an upside down division house, kind of. And then what do you put inside? Yes. The coefficients on the variables, remembering what? All of these things, yes. The zeros, the negatives. So I'm going from x to the 4th down to x squared. What am I missing there? The cube. So I have to put a 0 in. Then comes negative 4. I'm going from x squared down to 8. What am I missing? The plain x. So I need a 0 for the x. Now, am I dividing by negative 4? No. Remember, this is our what? Or possibly, it's our possible factor. I'm not dividing by the factor. I'm dividing by the root when I'm using synthetic. So how do I get the root here? Yeah, you set equal to 0 and add the 4 over. So I'm dividing by 4. What's my first step?
3.
Yes, pull that 3 down, and then what?
4 times 3.
Multiply 4 times 3, and you get
12.
And then what are you doing inside the house? Combining. 0 plus 12 is?
12.
4 times 12 is?
48.
And
4.
then 176, and then 176 again, and then 712. Is that right?
704.
I think, yeah, it's 704, and then you add it, and it's 712. Whew, all right. So now, I went from a polynomial of degree 4, and I divided out next. So what should my answer's degree be? 3, right, a cubic. So it goes 3x cubed plus 12x squared plus 44x plus 176, and then 7/12s are a remainder. How do I write it?
Over x plus 4.
Yes, that's our answer. Now, does this mean x minus 4 is a factor of this polynomial? No. Why is it not a factor? Because we ended up with a remainder, meaning it doesn't divide out evenly, right? If it doesn't divide out evenly, for sure x minus 4 isn't one of the binomials that multiply to get this this polynomial. Does that make sense? Okay. So now number 2. What type of division do we have to use here? You have to do long, right? Because yes, 4 does square root. So if you would bring this over, we would have 4 square root. However, when you're square rooting, what happens? Plus or minus. Can you in synthetic divide by plus or minus too? No. So we have to use long division. So I create my division house. We have 2x to the 5th. I would highly recommend putting in zeros for your skipped terms again. So we skipped the x to the 4th power. So I put a 0 and then 4x cubed. I'm skipping the x squared. So I put in a 0 minus 4x plus 5. All right. How do I start it? You ask yourself, what times x squared will give you that first term, 2x to the 5th? So what times x squared will give me that? 2x cubed. And then what do I do with that 2x cubed? You multiply it back in, right? So 2x cubed times x squared is? If these match, you know you're doing it right. Then 2x cubed times negative 4. Negative 8x cubed, where should I put that? Under the like term, yes. Now, I am subtracting. I know some of us are not very good at our negatives. Some are, and that's great. But some are not. So I highly recommend changing this to an addition problem by changing the signs of everything. So now this is 2x cubed, or 2x to the 5th minus 2x to the 5th. 0. Bring down the 0. And negative 4x cubed plus 8x cubed is a positive 4x cubed. Then I bring down the next term. And you repeat. You ask yourself, what times x squared will give me 4x cubed? A plus 4x, right? Then I multiply it back in. I get 4x cubed, and then 4x times negative 4 is negative 16. So that doesn't match up with that 0. I need to put it over here. I needed to also bring down the 4x, negative 4x. And then I am subtracting, change it to an addition problem by changing the signs of both. This ends up being 0, bring down the 0, and this is, and I bring down the 5. What times x squared gives me 12x? Nothing. So what is that actually? The remainder. So my answer here is 2x cubed plus 4x plus 12x plus 5 over x squared minus 4. Any questions there? Do people see where they went wrong?
Yes.
Whoops.
Isn't it late?
Whoops. There we go.